Good day, YouTubers. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world. Continuing on from last week, massive accomplishments. This week we are getting ready to do the racks that hold the dead eyes and the shrouds. So we got all the brackets glued, and we stained everything except these outer pieces. These will, I'm assuming, go on later after we get the shroud braces for the dead eyes installed. I don't know, I haven't seen when they install those, but got those ready to go on. And of course we always try to do more than one thing at a time, because while stain or glue is drying, we go on to the next thing. And these are the positions to mount the different brackets in. And then after that, obviously before I put the bracket on for the rear mast, I want to get these pieces installed, and they are going over those small gun ports, but there's a piece of framing in the way. And now that I'm looking at it, I got my cutouts upside down. Why didn't I see that before? And of course the rubbing stake that's on there is on the other side of the hole, the bottom instead of the top. So, like any good model maker, he's going to do it like he thinks is best, and this is what I'm going to do, because this looks better with the finial, and which would look like a Chinese roof almost, the way that curves up. Put that on top instead of on the bottom. And then I got to cut out so you can see the piece here that I notched out of the way. And the first one I did was over here, and I used the razor knife, and I'm thinking, oh, how can I do that easier, because that was a pain in the butt. So I got in there with the Dremel and cut some, but that was a little too aggressive to get a nice fit. See, a piece tore off there. So I did the last one like I did the first one with the X-Acto knife, and tried to come out in one piece. So I've got to glue these on with some E6000, and then turn the ship around and do the other side. This one I need to open it up on the bottom a little more so this can go down, because the top of the hole is showing there. So I want to get these 10 pieces of decoration done before I mount those brackets to hold the shrouds and dead eyes. So let me turn the ship around and get this camera set up, and I'll show you how I do one. Okay, we got her on the other side, and you can see here I got the shape of that piece notched with the X-Acto knife. So now I'm taking this where I think it needs to set. And that's how much I got to cut out. So I'm going to make a mark here, here, there, there, that corner. That gives me a general outline. What I want. I just got to dig down the rest of the way. A little bit of that bottom piece broke off, but I think that's going to be okay. Trying to make sure we got it down all the way in the different areas. So now to chip that out of there, I got a little wood chisel here. Get down underneath that because it's glued in, and there's a thin layer of planking on there. Try to salvage as much of that as we can. And clean up these spots where it teared out, where it didn't cut deep enough. See how it fits. So a little bit right there. Get that to go down in there. It's hanging up on this. So that's what I want. Yeah, that's good enough. It's hitting something here. Not laying down flat on the wall there. Okay, we're squared up with the hole. You can go over to the right a little bit, but it doesn't want to because of this right here. Just the littlest bit. And some of that's glue too from wood glue. There we go. Alright, so we just keep chipping away and fine-tuning our opening until we get all 4 of the rest ones cut out. That one went easy. You take the time to make sure your razor knife gets all the way through that. There'll be a little bit of cleanup on this one. Same here. But we're really close. Yep, a little cleanup on that. The ones we just did, and we'll be ready to glue them down. Alright, so we got these all prepped up too. And finding the position on the plans, and then setting them in there where I think they should go. And the back one was flat, so I just had to put a rubber band on it after I put some glue on there. But the front one wasn't, and this one wasn't either. So you can see there I've sanded out a little cup shape there using that little belt sander, electric belt sander that's on the bench. And that made it where the position I want to put this, it's nice and it's touching the side of the ship everywhere, and the brackets are touching everywhere. So then before I actually glue, go ahead and put some boards in and pre-set up my rubber bands. I got some little poles sticking out in the back through the holes in the railing, so I can make sure that rubber band doesn't come off. So now, because this is going to sit on top of this rubbing stake, I'm going to put glue on the back side and the bottom. I get my glue to come out. There's a big old turd on there. Let me clean this off. I want to make sure I got a good bead. Whatever squishes out, I can clean it off. Alright. So now with the position marked for the end, I'm going to just set one corner down, making sure we're getting contact with that rubbing stake. And get the rubber band around my little pole there. And I don't want it to pull up on it, I just want it to push against the wall. We do have a little squeeze out in the middle, so before that rubber band gets in the way, we can pull some of that off. Not worried about the bottom side like we got the rail there. It's got a good pressure on it. And this one I had to add a clamp to pull it down to the rubbing stake in the middle while it's drying. But this one looks like it's going to be okay. So do a little bit more glue cleanup. And let her dry for a while. So we got these all glued down. And I'll take some yellow and go in there and sort of cover up the spot that's tore out too much with some yellow. Hopefully that'll hide it. You see, when you get the ship laying over sideways like this, oh, my foot's stuck on the see some places where the paint is overhanging on these railings. Oh, I got a loose cannon. A loose cannon. Well, at least we know we got a loose cannon. Well, I don't want to glue it now because the ship isn't level. You just have to remember we got a loose cannon. All right. We'll let this set for like 10 minutes before I flip the ship. The E6000 takes quite a while to cure, but it gets tacky really quick as far as the stickiness of it. And if you got a good connection, yeah, 24 hours to cure, but I got to turn the ship onto the other side without impeding these rubber bands that we got, so we can do the same thing over there. Okay, we got all the brackets for the dead eyes and the shrouds glued up. You see how I use these little boards to hold my rubber bands. Little boards everywhere. Try not to depend on the railing too much, but you put a little board through the railing hole, you get a little more stability. You don't have to worry about it pulling on the railing too much. This is the other side from where we started. Everything looks good. Nice and strong. I think that'll be fine. We just got to remember to stain up those little edges that go on there. So, got all these decorations glued on the gun ports on both sides, and our shroud brace brackets for the dead eyes on both sides. And the next thing in the plans is the beginning of the bowsprit mast. So I gotta get those pieces out and shape them a little bit. And the last model, I think I put those masts in the drill, and then while this was running and the drill was turning, I was able to shape the mast poles. But this time I'm going to use this little belt sander instead. It's been working really good for what I'm doing. Yesterday it crapped out on me while I was working. Oh, what's going on here? All it was the 110 volt going into the low voltage battery box. Or it's not a battery, it's a little inverter in there that changes it from AC to DC, and then it's got a selector switch that lets you select from different voltages so you can run this at different speeds. but where the AC plugs into the box was not making good connection. I thought that when it first quit, I said, oh no, the brush has already quit in this thing. But it's too new to do that. Only got 3 belts on there so far. Yeah. Use these 2 and the one that's on there now. And I got a pile more of fine and rough sandpaper to go with it. So let's find these mast poles for the bowsprit. We got a lot of pieces that are going to go on it. And then this goes out 45 degrees from the bow, and then it kicks up to a straight up and down format. So it looks like we're going to be doing all 3 masts one at a time. And I think the middle mast has got an LED light on it, so we got to run wires to that, which is going to be right here. So where them wires come down, we got to figure out a way to get them into the hull without being able to see it, and over to this spot where we've got these. I think we'll be able to do that. It's going to be a little fishing expedition to get them over there without being able to see them on the deck. Lots of mast work ahead. All right, we got all our pieces that so far they wanted us to get together before we assemble the poles to these brackets and stanchions and crow's nest and all that kind of stuff. They're calling for a burnt umber or a brown instead of a black. I'm going to go with this chocolate. It's got a good dark color to match. And then these are going to get stained with the same stain we've been doing. So with all these pieces together that we've cut out of the laser cut sheet and assembled so far and tapered, I'm looking at this one that's been tapered. I want to taper it a little bit more on that end. I got it to the 9mm that they want, because this is a 10mm dowel, but I need to taper it in this area here so the 9mm doesn't show. That's too much. These 2 are just fine the way they're tapered, and they're the exact dimension that they call for. So we're going to stain those after we fix that one big one. And we got all these pieces assembled, and now we want to paint this stuff here with the dark brown before we assemble. So we'll paint and let those dry and then go from there. Okay, so we got all the pieces stained up and painted. And I went ahead and stained these edge pieces that are going to go on the, see, all 3 of them are different size, so that one's going to go on that one. I went in and stained those up too while I was staining those mast poles. And we gotta let this stuff dry before we go to fitting it together like it shows here. So it looks like it's going to be 2 sections high, 45 degrees off of that bowsprit. And I pulled the other placeholder out that was in the bowsprit just to make sure we're going to have clearance here. It's going to be tight, and if I have to, I can notch this side where that spot is going to be at. I don't want too much pressure on this assembly in the top here. But we did make good progress this week. Didn't get a lot of content because I was doing a lot of yard work this week, getting ready for a home inspection. Insurance in Florida is not conducive to the customer, so we're switching to a different company and got to get a new inspection. In the meantime, before we lock out here and sign off, the Roger Ramjet Man channel, let's go see what those birds are up to. I had 4 eggs this morning. That probably means one of them got laid late yesterday. Oh, look at that. I threw a bunch of weeds in there that I had weeded the garden, and they're in there working on them weeds. They like anything green. We give them scraps from the garden and the weeds and stuff like that, and they love it. Where's the other one at? There's Donald and Daffy. These two coming back in. There it is. Well, you looking out here, you want to go outside, don't you? No, you got good safety in there. Ain't no possum gonna get you in there. Yeah, last time we had chickens, raccoons and possums got them. I used to have a little fence like that one by the compost pile around the back section of the yard here, and just let them free range. And then a little coop that was much smaller than this. But after a couple of years, possums got them all. So this time we totally enclosed their runs, and then there's hardware cloth embedded down in the ground about a foot, and then this chicken wire is laced into that hardware cloth, and that's inside the coop and all the way around everywhere, so there ain't no way they're getting in there now. And the garden is booming. Springtime is close. Tomatoes are starting to come out. We planted some more tomatoes yesterday. Everything is busting out. Thanks for watching.